Hey everybody, welcome to episode number 30 of Declutter Me. How's it going, Shelina?
Hi Shrek, how are you doing today?
I'm good. We just got wrapped up with Diwali and for us the New Year last week, so that was quite
Happy
nice.
Diwali.
Well, thank you very much. And
Thank you very much for the mitai.
Yeah, you're welcome. What are we going to talk about today?
So today we're going to talk about emotional clutter, which, you know, you're looking at me with, huh?
I'm feeling like this is going to turn into a philosophical discussion, doesn't it?
It's going to be a bit deeper today. We're not going to go into the whole, you know, tips and tricks about how to organize. It's going to be more deeper than that. So what I find is when I am working with clients, you know, they want to remove the clutter, but there tends to be a lot of the time an underlying issue or factor with them having the clutter in their lives and having it overwhelming their lives. So it's not just as, you know, you can't go into people's houses just going, I'm going to just declutter the house, I'm going to clear up their kitchen or their wardrobe and everything will be hunky-dory in their lives ever after and they'll always be organized from thereafter.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you have to, in addition to getting rid of the physical stuff that you're talking about, which is the stuff that you actually declutter, like you get rid of the extra clothes or boxes or whatever, trinkets, it doesn't matter. But then it's also understanding sometimes the underlying cause, addressing perhaps an emotional need that might be missing out on or something.
Yeah. So there is a lot of things that come up when I'm working with clients. So often it's grief, and it's grief that they haven't dealt with. They haven't gone to talk to somebody about it. They haven't gone to a counselor, or they haven't just, connected with their family to talk about it. They've just hidden it. I had one client, lovely woman who her family called up me in to say she's shopping a lot. She keeps on shopping. She has a lot of stuff. You need to help her declutter. It's getting ridiculous. You know, she's going away abroad and she's going to shop again. And, you know, they were adamant that she was just a shopaholic, and they were using that term. And no one is a shopaholic without there being an emotional or mental reason. And there was. When we finally had a moment to be alone together, it turned out that there had been a death in her family, which she had been witness to, and there was grief. So not only has she had grief of dealing with the loss of someone passing away, but also because she'd witnessed it. And she never went to see a counsellor. Like she was given medicine for a few weeks and that was it. Nothing was done to deal with that aspect of her life and her well-being. With other people, I've had people who've moved houses, moved from one country to another, because that happens a lot here, because people, you know, move from, say, Hong Kong or Singapore or, you know, Australia to Dubai or England or whatever. You know, there's a lot of multiple destination expats, is that the word? Or there are people who are just expats. For a lot of people, it's a big overhaul. From, you know, the people who I know that have moved from the UK to here, they've left their family, they've left their friends to start a new life here. And for a lot of people, it's a traumatic experience, and they then start buying lots of stuff for the house and hoarding, or, you know, which can be the extreme, but just buying a lot of things generally. They feel lonely, so they're compensating in a different way. So there's different things that trigger their clutter. When you decide that you want to declutter, think about why you want to declutter. Not just that you want to get rid of the clutter and get organized and find everything in 5 seconds, which is the ethos when you worked with me, but what is underlying? What is there underneath that's the reason that you have all this stuff? And, you know, if you're not sure, I know how to get it out of people. I do, you know, I ask questions and it does come out eventually, but it would be good to know if you have a think about that. And if you're doing the decluttering yourself, you know, spend that moment to think about it. So either be in that area, sit there and just sort of meditate on it and think about, why have you got all this stuff? Why is it taken over your life? And what do you want to do to get it out of your life, you know, and to clear your mind? And then when you start the process, you know, breathe. You know, people start hyperventilating when they see all the clutter, and which adds to the anxiety, which adds to all the issues that they were already dealing with emotionally. So breathe. Just take a moment, breathe, and then start the process.
And we talk a lot as well about sometimes how it's really it's useful to have a professional organizer come in or someone external come in, because there are underlying emotional issues that, because you have a history with the person that's trying to get you to declutter, or sometimes it's just because you can't identify it yourself despite you talking to friends and stuff. I think it might happen even when you're decluttering, right? Like a piece will remind them of when something started or when something triggered some memory for them, and then that gives you a kind of a sense of what's happening too, right?
Yeah, it does happen nearly every time I have a session. Something comes up. I've dealt with, as I've said before, grief. I've heard divorce is a big thing. I help a lot of people with divorce, and they know they've gone through the divorce, but they don't know how emotionally draining it is. I deal with, I help mostly ladies who move into new homes. They've packed up the stuff from the marital home into their new home, and they think they're starting with a fresh start, but it is a fresh start. But I've had, lovely clients, sort of their body is collapsed. They've ended up having deep sleeps while I'm organising around them because, it's been so emotionally draining, and they haven't realised that and haven't taken that on board. So yes, as you said, it's good to have a third party there to help with that, because when it's family members or friends, they're involved in your life already, and they can't maybe fully understand how badly you're going through something.
Well, sometimes there's just too much history going on, and things have taken the wrong way very quickly, especially when everybody's on that edge because they're all dealing with it, as you said.
So we can't give really tips today.
There are multiple ways to handle that, so it's very difficult we can't give one tip expecting to cover all of these things. It's just something, I think it's a little bit about self-awareness. It's about understanding for yourself what is really causing you, and then that's the best way to help you work on it. So again, this is very nuanced, and we're not medical professionals at the end of the day, but I think it's very important to understand what's causing you. Especially, I think it's also understanding like when your behavior has changed, right? So like what suddenly caused you to do that if you were not doing it before? Because there are people that just love shopping, and that's fine. Like there's nothing wrong with that.
That's fine.
When you feel like something has changed recently, or if maybe a lot of people are telling you that hey, suddenly you're doing this. It might be a partner, might be anybody. It's always good to sort of just take a moment and reflect, to be like, could something have triggered it? And if that's so, then use that as a way of addressing the problem as well.
And there's different ways of doing it, whether you use an organizer to help you with that or to go to a counsellor. There's some great initiatives now in Dubai and around the world. There are great people, centres that you can go to talk to them with no stigma.
There's a lot of awareness in the last few months about, mental health as well, and how it shouldn't be something you should be fearful about talking about. And I think that's awesome as well. But also remember that some of the stuff has a tie into some day-to-day habits like shopping and picking stuff up, or like you might do it because of a memory, for a memory, due to a memory. It could be anything, and so it's really important that it's important to understand that sometimes and figure it out, because and this is just me, but like having all that clutter actually then starts to affect you as well. Like it keeps you in the cycle.
Well, you have the clutter cloud, which I talk about with my clients. There's the clutter cloud that's on your head when you have clutter, so it brings you anxiety, stress, and I've talked about it before, that when you wake up in the morning, and if you wake up and there's clutter everywhere in your room, you already feel stressed before you've even gone to the bathroom to have a shower, and then you go in the bathroom, and then you've got millions of shower gels, and you've got 5 deodorants and 10 toothpaste, and oh my god, I'm getting a headache already thinking about it. That's it, and it goes on and on and on, and that's that clutter cloud that then hangs over your head the whole day. So it all links together, and it's all emotionally draining, and then you feel tired, and then you don't want to go out. So if you're feeling like that, then yes, get help, talk to someone professional, and see what they can do to help you. And if you need guidance, if you need advice about who to go to as a first port of call, you can always send a message to me on the Declutter Me website, on the contact form, and I'm happy to help and to guide you to the right people, or happy to help you to declutter, so that you can start removing that emotional burden and the clutter cloud out of your life.
Well, that's it, I think, for us for this week. We just wanted to share that with you guys, and we'll be back again next week with more decluttering tips as always. So we'll see you then.
Bye.